Well, usually this would be a day of doing just like a hodgepodge video, or with the award season, this could be almost anything. But I decided I want to throw this up today as well. I don't know exactly what day this video is going up, to be totally honest with you. Haven't quite decided yet. It may be up tomorrow, it may be up on Monday, maybe up Wednesday, but it'll be up.
Maybe not tomorrow.
Yeah, but it will be up soon. And these are the new release movies that we actually got to watch this week. Now, there are 4 that we got this week. Of course, the other one is August, which of course we don't have to worry about that because there's already a review on this channel right now. And we actually have 3 for today's video.
The story on The Nut Job is it is apparently by far the most popular movie of this weekend.
We put it in theater 3 though too. It should have been theater 1.
Yeah, and The Nut Job's been selling out like crazy apparently.
Yeah.
So
we're gonna put it in theater 1 as of Sunday morning.
Yeah.
Whenever this video is released.
So The Nut Job is going to be with I, Frankenstein next week, most likely.
That's what it sounds like. We will be watching it on Sunday, and then we will be putting it on the I, Frankenstein recap, because unless we get an Oscar re-release, or an Oscar first release in some of these cases, then I, Frankenstein's going to open up by itself next week.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
We're going to check into that, actually.
Well, I guess I should get started.
AJ, take it away.
I think we're going to start with Ride Along. Okay, Ride Along's advertisement has been out forever.
Yeah.
People knew about this like 6 months ago. It feels like we saw that trailer for the first time.
With that horrible song that I hate so much in the trailer. That's actually in the movie.
The one from Attack the Bull.
Yes.
Well, basically, it's your... If you've seen... I don't know how to say this. If you've seen an action comedy with one fast-talking character and one straight character, you've seen them all.
Some of them work, some of them don't.
This goes back to, my mind wants to tell me it started with 48 Hours, but I don't remember if there was one before that or not. We'll say 48 Hours.
That works for me.
Because generally the scenario is a white guy and a black guy, like Nick Nolte and Eddie Murphy.
Mm-hmm.
But then you have cases like Rush Hour, or I guess in a sense the Bad Boys movies. Obviously we're not in race anymore, but even the Bad Boys movies, even though they're both kind of fast talkers, generally Will Smith is the fast talker, Martin Lawrence is the straight guy.
Yeah.
So they've decided to do that here. And they have Ice Cube. And they have Kevin Hart. If you didn't see the Grudge Match review, I'm not a big fan of Kevin Hart.
Nope.
Kevin Hart the person seems alright. Kevin Hart the stand-up comedian seems fine.
Not the same as his acting ability.
Kevin Hart the, I don't want to say actor. Kevin Hart the somewhat movie star. Well, here's the thing.
Still wanting to be Martin Lawrence.
Talking about this fast-talking character that's in all these action movies, action comedies, I guess Kevin Hart is kind of the perfect casting.
Chris Tucker must have been busy.
Yeah, he was in a David O. Russell movie last year, so there's that. Well, technically the year before. Somebody recently asked, where is Chris Tucker? I was like, did nobody see Silver Linings Playbook? I thought everybody did.
Yeah.
Where's the Chris Tucker we know, I think is what they were asking.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, anyway, before I trail off into Silver Linings Playbook, we'll get back to Ride Along.
We'll always do this.
Okay, so you probably know the plot already. You know the plot just by looking at the big stand-up in your theater's lobby.
Yeah.
One has Ice Cube and one has Kevin Hart, and basically it tells you that the plot is Kevin Hart wants to be a cop. He's actually just some security guard at a school or something. And the girl that he wants to marry and he's in love with has a brother that is this hardcore cop who is Ice Cube, and he wants to get Ice Cube's blessing before he asks her to marry him.
Yeah.
Which is devoid of all meaning halfway through the movie, but we needed something to start the plot, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay, because, you know, we get the big Meet the Focker speech of, I don't need your permission, I'm gonna, whatever. I said Meet the Fockers. I meant parents, but they're you know where I was going.
Same thing.
Yeah.
Same franchise. We'll go with that.
So basically, we have the scene where Ice Cube says, "I'm gonna take you on a ride along," and then it turns into literally a comedy version of Training Day. They mentioned Training Day about 3 times, and Ice Cube actually says the Denzel line, "Today's your training day." The only thing he didn't say was Officer Hoyt afterwards.
There's a lot of quotations from Training Day.
Yeah, he does. There was a point in time where Kevin Hart is surrounded by a group of bikers, and he does the whole "you be playing basketball in Pelican Bay" speech.
Yep.
And yeah, he does the fucking King Kong line.
Of course he does.
Everybody does the fucking King Kong line.
Yes.
So, hilarity sometimes ensues, but most of the time doesn't. When I say that, I'm saying the movie isn't without laughs. There's this really hilarious scene right from the get-go. The scene where Ice Cube decides he's going to take him on a ride along. It's when Kevin Hart basically confesses that he wants to marry... I've forgotten the girl's name already. But,
That's a good start for the review.
So Ice Cube shoots him dead.
It was awesome.
Which, of course, is just a fantasy. Because it does the thing where it plays...
Angela.
Yeah. It plays this... He guns him down, it plays that song that says, "I could just kill a man."
Yeah.
And he starts to walk away from the body, and then we just cut back. And
Which is his music, by the way.
It was, I wasn't sure, but okay, that makes it even cooler. And then, of course, you get that cut of them just standing in front of each other again. And it never happened, unfortunately. Then, basically, it turns into all kinds of... This is one of those movies where it doesn't do anything to try to be something new and fresh. Pretty much every scene reminded me of another movie.
Yeah.
Whether it be, like, there's a scene where, there's a scene towards the end that's kind of a spoiler, so I won't say it exactly, but Kevin Hart gets to do this big thing where he goes around the room, and it is so much like the scene in 48 Hours with Eddie Murphy at the bar. Like, just almost directly lifted, it felt like. There's a scene where Kevin Hart has to go, I can't remember exactly we just saw it yesterday and I already forget the context. Kevin Hart is on like a drug or accidentally on a drug or something when shit gets real. It's it's
morphine.
It's when he's at the hospital, and then they go out and they do an action scene.
He got shot somehow.
It reminded me a lot of the scene where Martin Lawrence accidentally takes ecstasy in Bad Boys 2.
Yeah.
There's a couple of scenes involving... There's one scene involving a situation. For some reason, I thought of the Eddie Murphy movie Metro. You remember that movie?
Yeah.
It's actually a good movie. It's
not bad.
It's 90s action comedy at its most standard, but it's a good movie if you find it. I don't care. And there was those moments like let's use an example like Lethal Weapon.
Okay.
In Lethal Weapon, you have the main plot, but then there's that point where they kind of diverge. Like the scene in Lethal Weapon where the guy's on the ledge and they have to talk him down, and Riggs gets to do his thing. You know immediately when this movie starts, and you know there's a plot with this unseen villain named Omar, who we already know is Lawrence Fishburne because they say, this is the only known photo of him, and it was taken years ago, and it's obviously a picture of young Lawrence Fishburne from his movies from the 70s.
Yep.
And his name was in the credits anyway.
And is the big giveaway right there.
Yeah. I didn't know Lawrence Fishburne was in it until the credits, so it would have been awesome if they didn't have beginning credits, and it would have blown my mind when he showed up.
Even cooler.
So I think Cornbread Earl and Me is the movie they used to get the picture of him. So anyway, what I was getting at with Lethal Weapon, you all know that exact, and Metro's the same way, and all of them really. You know the exact formula is there's the one plot, but then you're always going to diverge into other things that are not related, just so you can do wacky cop comedy stuff. This movie's no exception. Like, I was literally playing it out in my head, because I was like, oh, well, okay, where's the movie going to go from here? This is going to happen, this is going to happen. And it's like, oh yeah, there's probably going to be a scene where we diverge and just do something that's not part of the plot at all, that has to do with some quirky situation.
Yeah.
Sure enough, we get a scene at a was at the farmer's market
Mm-hmm.
with a guy named Crazy Cody, who is a guy who is scraping the bottom of the barrel for cheap laughs by ripping off all of his clothes and dumping honey on himself.
He reminds me very much of like Will Ferrell if he didn't make it big.
Yeah. But that's actually its own plot point,
Yeah.
if you want to call it that. It's not really a big deal. Basically, it's not a big deal at all, I'll tell you, actually. Obviously what it is, Ice Cube's setup is he goes in and he tells the woman, give me all the really stupid crimes. Like the crimes that cops go to and it's not an emergency, it's just like stupid shit.
126, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He says, just send all those to me, and that's what he's sending Kevin Hart on. So Kevin Hart will think that this is what being a cop is, and it will make him shy away from it. But of course, they actually get into this plot and get into real danger, and you know the rest.
Yep. No surprises here.
Yeah, that even leads to that age-old scenario that you see in so many goddamn movies. I can't even think of one example because just so many dance around in my head. It's one of those things where you can't think of an example, but you know there's like 50 of them.
Yeah.
That segment where you're in a sticky situation and you have one character who thinks it's fake, but then and of course you know it's supposed to be fake, but then real shit goes down, and when the real dangerous shit goes down, he thinks it's still fake. So he's doing, shit that makes him look insane.
Yeah.
The guy's got a real gun in his face, and he's saying, shoot me because he thinks it's fake. All that. That's like sitcom level shit.
Yeah.
Um,
Felt like I was watching the WB.
And I don't want to give too much away, but I will say this. I think if you watch enough movies, you'll know what I'm talking about. There are these movies, okay, it's its own genre. It's the bad action comedy. Now, I wouldn't call Ride Along a bad movie, but
It's not great.
it follows. It's weirdly enough, it just happened to squeeze out enough laughs that I can say it's not a bad movie, but it goes every step of bad formula. Like every step tells you this is a bad movie. But but here's the thing. This one, like I said, I don't want to give too much away, but I will just say this. And like I said, if you've seen enough movies, it's probably not much of a spoiler anyway.
Mm.
For some reason, all of these cop comedies seem to have a twist where a good guy is not a good guy. This movie does not shy away from that either. So you have that, which is, which I don't know why they do that, because who's going to go to, I'm sure they exist, and I'm sorry if you're one of them and I'm offending you, but imagine a regular person going to a movie like Ride Along. They're going to a movie like Ride Along, okay? And the twist happens.
Yeah.
Is this person, knowing what kind of movie they're in, gonna go, holy shit, that just blew my fucking mind. I can't believe that happened.
I highly doubt it.
Or are most moviegoers just gonna say, well, that's happening now.
That's happening now.
I didn't hear any oohs or ahs, and there was quite a few people in there.
I don't think any of those people knew who those people were.
Okay.
The theater we watched it with, I'm almost positive no one knew who they were.
Alright, so
Can we talk about the supporting cast a little bit?
the first person I want to bring up, because we're still in this, is Bruce McGill.
My boy Bruce McGill.
Here's the thing about Bruce McGill. He's great, by the way.
Yes,
not,
he is.
Not in the movie, he's great in general, because he's Bruce McGill.
I said yes, he is.
Yeah.
Obviously, I know him from Obvious, but...
Yeah, I was laying it out, as a whole. But, he's stuck in this part. Remember when I talked about cliches and formula?
Yeah.
Well, obviously, when you're in a cop comedy, you have to have the scolding superior.
Yes.
His only job is to sit behind his desk and say, yo, I'm gonna take your badge away, and oh, you can't do that, and oh, you're fired, and then when you solve the big case after the big action scene, he's gonna show up at the scene and say, I admire you, man. You broke all the goddamn rules in the book, but my fucking god, I love you.
Yeah, that's pretty much paint by numbers every single time.
I'm exaggerating a little bit, but you get exactly...
No, not really.
You get exactly what I'm talking
For
about.
this movie, yes. For other movies, no.
That's all Bruce McGill gets to do. He's that guy.
Yeah. It is enjoyable when he's on set.
There is, well, you know what? There's really no need for me to bash Kevin Hart any more than I already did. But I will just say, I get that his ranting and raving style of whatever the fuck it is he does seems to be, like, fit for this part. But, I mean, is this just all he's gonna do forever?
Oh, unlike Chris Tucker, you don't see him pulling like a Silver Linings Playbook out of his repertoire anywhere down the road.
Yeah, put Kevin Hart in a Tarantino movie like Chris Tucker did. I don't care if he only had one scene in Jackie Brown, it was a great scene.
Agreed.
I'm sure Kevin Hart will do something great, even if it's like 20 years down the road, when he's put this thing to bed.
Once he stops deciding he wants to be Martin Lawrence and he wants to be Kevin Hart, he'll be fine.
Yeah. And I think it's...
And I'm not a fan, obviously, but there's something there, obviously, but it's not there yet.
Generally, the job of the straight man is to basically just sit there and be a grumpy Gus while the comedy relief gets to do his thing.
Ice Cube and 21 Jump Street.
Yeah, Bruce McGill, I wanted to bring that up. What's great about this, actually what makes it sad, is the character that Bruce McGill plays was perfectly spoofed by Ice Cube himself in 21 Jump Street.
Yes.
Cube, you should have given Bruce McGill some pointers there. That's the thing, they don't that character's not played as a spoof, he's played as that character.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, where were we? We were talking about...
Supporting cast?
Yeah, I was talking about, oh yes, so the point of the straight man is to sit there and let the comedy do their thing.
Yeah.
And you just have to, basically, you have to play off their I'm angry reactions to things. That's all they can do.
Yeah.
And Ice Cube does that rather well.
Yeah.
Most of the laughs in the movie I thought came from him. I'll give Kevin Hart some credit. He had a couple of things. I can't remember them off the top of my head, but Kevin Hart did say a couple of funny things.
Not the trailer stuff. It was all stuff that was...
Yeah, it's kind of bad. It's kind of bad that Kevin Hart doesn't shut up through the whole hour and a half or hour 40 this movie was, and he said a couple funny things. But the problem with that is this Kevin Hart thing is so not doing it for me. I think that actually helped Ice Cube look better.
It's possible.
So, Ice Cube is like, for most people, Ice Cube's probably kind of funny, just kind of doing the serious man thing.
Mm.
But I guess he seemed funnier to me because of how that balance is so out of whack.
Yeah.
With, I don't even know. Alright. Lawrence Fishburne is good. You know, he's Lawrence Fishburne. He's not going to be bad no matter what movie he's in.
Doesn't have his rings this time.
Yes. Cole Williams.
The last time we saw him.
He's been around.
The last time he did something that's extremely memorable. To me, 21 is so memorable because of that character. Yeah. I like the movie.
So, yeah, there was like his 2 minutes in Predators and then he blew up or something.
Yeah.
I don't remember exactly, but... okay. It's worth mentioning that's a Boys in the Hood reunion.
Yep.
It's Doughboy versus Furious Styles here. I'm gonna guess one got the other in the movie. I would say Ice Cube said, "Hey, guess what? I'm doing this movie with Kevin Hart. I think it could be a good time. Maybe if you want to stop by, you could do a little part here." And Fishburne's like, "Oh well, I'm not doing anything. I'm narrating." So I can only imagine that's how that happened. So it's disheartening. There's an Oscar-nominated actor in this movie.
Props for the Ice Cube line from his own
song. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Ice Cube says the line, "Today was a good day."
Made me laugh. I was the only one that did. But still. John Leguizamo's in this movie too.
Yeah, I saw his name on the standee, but I didn't know what he did until I saw the movie.
Him and Brian Callen from another former Mad TV star.
Oh yeah, I didn't recognize him.
Yeah.
So, I think that's pretty much right along as a whole.
I just had to mention that they were in the movie, and that's pretty much the end of it.
Yeah, they do the cop thing. They do the, there's always the two cops there that, you know, are basically there to be the bane of the main character's existence.
Yep.
That's all they do, really. So, yeah, it's good for a few laughs, but that's about all you're gonna get.
Recommendation?
No. But but
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend it either.
You know, I'm sure there's plenty of people who will like it, but
Yeah,
I'm just not.
We were in the theater with them.
I'm just not one of them. So, alright. Our next movie is Jack Ryan, which was recently changed to Jack Ryan Shadow Recruit, which is really funny because they're usually shortening titles to just characters' names, but they actually put a little more into this one. And it's a nice name. It sounds cool. It sounds like a fucking spy movie.
You really set up for the sequel that it's coming to, with a title like that. They're looking for a franchise.
Yeah, this actually goes... Obviously, there's the other 4 Jack Ryan movies. There is... I don't know the chronological order, but there's The Hunt for Red October, where he was played by Alec Baldwin. There's the 2 Harrison Ford movies, where he was played by Harrison... I said Harrison
The
Ford.
2 Harrison Ford movies where he's played by Harrison Ford. That was funny.
Patriot Games and Clear Breath of Danger. I think Patriot Games was the first one.
I've never seen these movies. I have no idea.
I think it goes Patriot Games, Clear Breath of Danger, Hunt for Red October, and obviously Sons of All Fears was the latest one with Ben Affleck.
Yes.
But now what they're doing is they are going in reverse. I mean, his age is fucked anyway, because he went from being Harrison Ford to Alec Baldwin to Ben Affleck. He's getting younger as he goes. And now he's even younger. I don't know what the...
When does this take place?
2011 apparently. No, 2013. No, okay, they set it up exactly to be set in 2013. So this is either a completely new thing, like a reboot, or it's all the other Jack Ryan movies are set in the future.
Because Chris Pine is standing there watching when the towers come down.
Yeah, okay. He's in college for 9/11.
Yes.
And then it jumps ahead 2 years and he's in Afghanistan, and then it says 10 years later, so it's 2013.
Okay, that makes sense.
Okay.
So it is a reboot. It has to be.
Yeah, I think it's supposed to technically be a reboot, but with the whole him being younger thing, I heard it say, I heard a few people say, it's supposed to take place before, well, I guess before everything, literally. Like I said, it's not like the others were in any order, so...
True.
For the longest time, I didn't know that, Sons of All Fears and Hunt for Red October were connected, and they were connected to those Harrison Ford movies I saw once. I haven't seen those movies in forever. I've only seen them like one time each. I remember liking Patriot Games, but the others I had trouble with.
Mm-hmm.
I bought the Hunt for Red October on DVD like 5 years ago, and with intent to rewatch, and I haven't yet. So anyway, we've basically already set up the plot.
Yep.
He sees the towers. That makes him say, "I want to be patriotic."
Mm-hmm.
So he goes to Afghanistan, gets his ass blown up, saves his 2 colleagues though.
Yep.
Goes to physical therapy, meets his future fiancée, Keira Knightley, and then we just jump ahead 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
Just to make it present day.
Of course.
So you gotta fit in the Afghanistan stuff and make it present day. That's how you do that. You just jump ahead 10 years with nothing. So yes, we're supposed to assume that they've been together for 10 years. I mean, I know I say a lot of romances in movies are underdeveloped. But even so, if they haven't, come on, a couple that young, if they're not like married or broken up in 10 years, I don't know, maybe it took them a while to get together because we never actually see them get together. She's his physical therapist, and then we jump 10 years and they've been a couple forever apparently.
Kind of like James Hunt and Rush.
Yeah. Only the opposite. We just it's like, let's get married tomorrow. I just met you 5 minutes ago. So, and then we get into this plot about Kenneth Branagh, who is, you know what, maybe I'm going too fast. Maybe I should talk about Kevin Costner first. Kevin Costner recruits him.
Yeah.
Title. And, he said it. Which is funny because they use Clear Present Danger in that joke on Family Guy. So Kevin Costner recruits him. And then we go into a plot about Kenneth Branagh, who is basically this terrorist that is going to attack and destroy the economy or something.
Okay.
It's a Jack Ryan movie. The plot's gonna be, what it is. It's very straightforward. There's not many, it's just simple plot, has to be stopped, the end.
Okay.
Which, is fine. Simplicity is good for action movies.
Yeah.
I guess it's worth noting immediately that, if you're in this for an action movie, I don't know how you're gonna feel. because this movie has 3 action scenes. Okay, there's 1 action scene, and then there's 1 prolonged one that could count as 2, I think.
It's like night and day.
Which is fine, because, you know, as long as the action is good, it's, you know, quality over quantity is probably a better idea.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Especially for spy, because it's not necessarily, there's a big difference between spy movies and action movies.
Yeah.
Spy movies love to masquerade as action movies, but they aren't at all. Unless it's a Bond movie. So there's, I feel like I'm forgetting something. No, that's pretty much it as far as action and plot. What's interesting about this movie, given the type of movie that it is actually what draws you to it is the fact that it, believe it or not, has, I may be alone in this, has interesting characters. Like, you have, because you could just have, like, everybody thought the casting of Keira Knightley was weird. Because she's basically just, you know, the, oh, you're keeping secrets from me, why you never home girlfriend? Mm-hmm. But, an interesting thing they do halfway through this movie is, this is kind of the, I don't know how much of it, I don't know if you call this a spoiler, really. It does happen it happens about halfway through. If you're worried, go ahead and leave, but, you know, I don't...
Come back.
Halfway through the movie, she finds out what he is. But it's a really weird reveal, because, wait, was that in the trailer? It might have been.
Maybe.
Well, anyway, he comes in, and she's there, and he's like, oh, shit. And she's sitting on the bed, and of course his gun is laying out. And it comes to realize she knows what he is. And he says, I work for the CIA. And instead of saying, like, oh my god, you lied to me, and slapping him, or saying, oh my god, we're in danger, we're leaving now, and she gets really excited and wants to be a part of it, which is really fun. This is actually funny. I actually, I'm not a fan of Keira Knightley at all, but I kind of liked her here. She was very, you know, fun and likable. And she's always nice to look at.
Yeah.
And she becomes important to the plot, actually. Because they actually use her as a character, and she's not just that, oh god, they're stay out of danger girlfriend person. Costner is really good. I had initially thought, when I first heard the news he was in it, I thought it said that it was just a cameo.
No.
Costner's in it quite a bit, and if you watch the credits, he's second credited. So, yeah, if you're a Costner fan, it's more than a cameo, I promise. It's a pretty, it's probably the most major part he's had in a while now.
Yeah.
He's in this more than he's in Man of Steel.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have Branagh. Kenneth Branagh he directed it, and he is also the villain in the movie. Which, when I heard that, I was hooked on this immediately. Mm. I was like, oh, they're doing Jack Ryan again. Oh, it's Chris Pine. That might be all right, but I'm not excited. But then you put Branagh's name on it twice, and I'm there.
Of course.
I'm there twice. I'm there for every time his name's on it. I would watch Kenneth Branagh read the phone book, and I would certainly watch Kenneth Branagh direct himself reading the phone book. That guy's amazing. I mean, every now and then he has a miss, but for the most part, he's this Shakespearean genius. I think he's even better than... His head would explode if you heard me say this. I think he's better than... Okay. Let me carefully word this. I think I like his work even better than Olivier's adaptations.
Wow.
And of course, he got a much-deserved Oscar nomination for playing Olivier in My Week with Marilyn.
Yes.
I fucking love this dude. Even in Wild Wild West. We could go into that all day, but I'll try to keep things...
Well, it's not here.
Yeah, we're already totally off, but this whole review's totally off. Sorry about that. So... Even though he's doing the Russian accent, like normally when you have somebody who's not Russian, who's playing a villain and doing a Russian accent, it's a recipe for disaster. And political correctness is totally out the window, most likely. But he's really like... I buy Branagh as a Russian.
He's very invested in the character.
Yeah. Now, the problem with this movie, which there isn't... I mean, it's a bit... yeah... in the long run, it's a big problem, but unless you're, like, a casual moviegoer watching this, and you're not going in expecting, like, you know, something absolutely spectacular, I think this movie is strictly for casual moviegoers, because it's not something that's gonna, like, stick with them, but I think they'll be perfect, it's entertaining while it lasts, but it's not gonna, like, make a lasting impression or anything.
Okay.
Like, it's gonna do its job as a movie, and then you just go on to the next one.
The definition of a popcorn movie?
Yeah, which is not... Normally this is associated with action movies, but... Yeah, this... It'll entertain you, but it's not gonna, like... You know... You're not gonna, like, rush out and tell people, oh my god, you have to see this, or anything.
Jack Ryan's gonna run for the 2015 Oscar.
Yeah. You just, like, walk out of the theater and you say, well, that's pretty good. And then you just go on with your day.
And you'll probably forget completely about it by the time the day's over.
Which, you know, is not much of a criticism, because this isn't really... These type of movies aren't really, you know, supposed to be that way.
Uh-huh.
You're not really supposed to go in expecting some masterpiece or anything, I don't think. So, if you go into if you see directed by Kenneth Branagh on the poster and it's a Shakespearean movie, yeah, you can expect a masterpiece. But this kind of thing, like, he also did the first Thor movie. Yes. Not many people remember that. And, you know, obviously he's not going to direct this the way he directed Hamlet or anything. His Hamlet's the best adaptation ever. God. Kenneth Branagh. So yeah, it's very minor as a movie, but, you know, that's just kind of movie it is. There's nothing wrong with that.
It's January. I mean, this stuff's like, this month's gonna get better.
This is very good. This is incredible for a January movie. This is very, very good by January standards. And the only reason, it was supposed to come out on Christmas, and the Wolf of Wall Street bumped it. So that's the only reason it ended up in January. Because I'd heard they consider going to the summer.
Yeah.
But then I thought, you know what, we'll start in January.
In the summer, it would have been really overlooked, and no one would have went to see it, because everybody in the summer, they've already figured out what they're going to watch. This would have gotten pushed by the wayside. Yeah. This way it won't, because there's really no competition for the audience.
Yeah.
Except for people still watching Lone Survivor.
Yeah. So, you know, yeah, you know, it's the best movie to come out this week. We haven't seen The Nut Job, but I'm pretty sure it still stands. I'm sure you're probably still trying to, you know, find, you know, Oscar movies like Lone Survivor and all them, but I'd say, you know, if you're just looking for something, you know, yeah, it's perfectly fine. So, yeah, that counts as a recommendation, doesn't it?
I'd say so.
Yeah, yeah. There were a couple of people in there that seemed impatient. Like, there was, obviously when you're in a movie, you obviously reach a climax.
Mm.
And then there's, like, just a little, you know, ending, a little coda, I think they're called. Where it's just, you know, hey, this is, you know, this is going well, and this is going well. Credits.
Talk about the 4 people left right before the finish.
Yeah, as soon as we got to a point to where the story itself was pretty much over, the main plot, 4 people just got up and left.
Yep. Like, bye.
And then one dude in the back just kind of stood up and just kind of stood by the door and waited for it to end. I don't know if they weren't enjoying themselves or they were in a hurry. Maybe they were just in a hurry. I don't know. Because the movie started a little late. Maybe they were in a hurry to get somewhere, maybe. Or they're just douchebags. Yeah. Because that's like... This is going to send me on a little tirade. I'm trying to condense it here, but basically my point is unless the movie is really bad, if you're like collecting your shit or unless the movie's bad or unless you have somewhere you have to be like in the next 10 minutes, if you start to collect your stuff or if you like are standing up and the movie's still not over yet, even if there's still, it just seems like there's one scene left and the credits are about to happen. Mm. If you don't wait until the very first credit to start leaving, you're a douchebag.
Yeah.
Just hold on. That's it.
We were running late for a movie too, and it still waited till the end.
So, you know, that's, you know... Yeah, if we had been like those douchebags, we probably would have seen The Nut Job today.
Yes.
But, you know... Like I said, unless you really got somewhere you have to be, or unless the movie is just so terrible, if it seems like you have one scene left, just hold your horses.
Yeah.
Because you look like a douchebag. Everybody's looking at you. You're disturbing everybody
Especially
else.
if you're in the front of the auditorium. If you're in the back where you can like kind of duck out and not many people can see you, it's a little bit easier. But if you're right up front and people watch you...
Yeah, those 4 that left were in the front, and when they obviously, there's 4 of them, and they all go up the aisle, really stretch out. It was like watching a train go by.
And you couldn't help but look, either.
Yeah. So, you know, and they stayed that long, so it couldn't have been, you know, like a mad walkout or anything.
Yeah.
So, I wish I could say what had just happened when they left, because it just... it's like, that's what they were waiting for, and then they left, but... I'm sure you'll know if you see it, but...
Yeah.
Okay, now that I've called out the douchebags. Hopefully, I wonder if those people will watch this.
It's possible, I guess.
Nah, nobody watches this.
That's not true.
I'm talking to myself right now.
That's not true.
Okay, in a second I'm gonna wish I was talking to myself, apparently.
We called out the douchebags, now we're about to cater to them.
I don't mean to offend anybody
Here we go.
that likes this movie. I don't mean to offend anybody that likes any movie. Even if I say that, it's probably in the passion of my hatred for the movie I'm talking about.
Of course.
But I would never actually, hate on somebody for liking a movie.
No.
You know, I don't wish for anybody to dislike a movie. I love movies in general too much to wish somebody would have a bad time at one. So, okay, now that I've said that.
Here it comes.
Our last movie is Devil's Due.
I've been waiting for a while to hear this, actually.
Okay, Devil's Due, shock surprise, is a found footage movie. It's by these guys call themselves, what is it, Radio Silence? Is their name?
I believe so.
They did the haunted house segment in the first VHS movie.
Which, when you told me that, it actually got me excited for the movie somewhat.
Because the haunted house segment in VHS is awesome.
Yes, it is.
Granted, it's not feature length. It's like 10 minutes long, if that. It's more like 7 minutes long.
That segment alone is better than anything that's in part of Devil's Due.
Yes. Okay. So... I'm not even sure where to start. Okay, I know where to start.
Yeah, you do.
This is what's bad about this movie. I gotta go back in time, and like I said, if I'm pissing you off, like I said, I'm sorry.
It's just gonna get worse.
Man, I'm not sorry that I hate the movie. I'm sorry that there's people I might offend by bashing a movie that they like. Because even if you're really held on to your opinion, it is possible to be, you know, offended. No matter how much of a grasp you have on your own opinion, to be offended if somebody bashes a movie you like.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Having said that, I can pretty much... I just have little notes written here about things that I think should be discussed about this movie to get my point across.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that I don't like about Devil's Due. And to be totally and completely honest, I could be looking at my Paranormal Activity quotes from last week and have this exact same problems.
Yeah.
You remember at the beginning of the Paranormal Activity review when I said, oh my god, look how original they are? When the opening logo was coming up, it did the shifting video thing.
Yeah.
Devil's Due does that too.
Well, I guess fortunately in my case, I did not see the opening of this movie.
Yeah, you missed the first half hour, but there's a whole other story behind that.
Yeah, it had nothing to do with me sleeping this time, thank you.
Okay.
We're fixing an issue upstairs. Continue.
Fisting an issue, you said?
We are fixing an issue upstairs. Ride Along and Jack Ryan did not play the first set yesterday.
Yeah. Okay, so here's the thing. Oh, it's worth noting, it's really funny that this came out the same week because there's a scene in Jack Ryan where, Keira Knightley's watching Rosemary's Baby. This movie actually almost got shunned immediately by most people. Like I said, apparently these movies that even seem hated apparently have their fan base somewhere. But from what I was hearing, everybody immediately jumped on this movie's case for being a wannabe version of Rosemary's Baby.
Well, yeah.
Because we needed one of those again. There's another movie that I keep referencing as a Rosemary's Baby ripoff. But then I realized that it's actually a spoiler for that movie to say so. So I won't call that movie out, but you know which one I'm talking about.
Yep.
So, so it starts, it does the thing when the logo comes up, and then, actually we start, we're in this police station. You got the dude from The Last Stand, that guy, the rookie guy that wanted to go to LA. He's sitting here at this in this interrogation room, and he's covered in blood, and he's in handcuffs, and he's telling us what happened.
Okay.
Then, of course, we see what happened.
Because we always have to see what happened, obviously.
Yeah. So, for the first of 3 reasons, we learn why everything is being recorded. The first is apparently this is just his thing. He just wants to do this, I guess.
He's a future YouTuber.
Whatever. So, it's the night before his wedding to this girl. I forget their names now.
Samantha.
Samantha and Zach.
Yes.
Yes, okay. So, at first we think Zach is a creepy voyeur, because obviously we see it from his camera, and he's peeking in through the windows at what appears to be some bridal shower or something.
Man.
Or maybe last minute preparations or something. And he's watching her through the windows. And then he goes inside, and because dog is the new cat, a dog barking they use as a jump scare. And we learn, oh, that's actually his fiancée, and the reason he had to sneak into the house was because she's very much into the tradition of you're not supposed to see the bride the night before the wedding.
Yeah.
Or any time before the wedding. That's the only reason he was trying to sneak in. But then, of course, they say, you know, oh, fuck that, whatever. Well, he just says, she's very into this tradition. He says, oh, fuck that, whatever, and she just falls in line with it. She's like, oh, okay, whatever, and then, no. So, so that's the end of that. So, if you want to, I think the whole point of that may be, they say it's bad luck to see the bride before the wedding.
Yeah.
And that bad luck certainly set in.
Okay.
Maybe that's what they were going with that.
That actually makes too much sense for this movie.
It's like the wine on the dress in The Deer Hunter. Okay, so then we see them on their we see the wedding, and then we see them honeymooning. Now, of course, in horror movie fashion, you gotta go into the weirdest country possible to honeymoon. You gotta go into hostile territory.
Literally.
You gotta have the creepy cab driver that's gonna take you out in the middle of nowhere where you're gonna get raped by God knows what.
Yes.
Satan, apparently.
Yep.
Actually, we don't really... There's not really an explanation of exactly what, you know... Obviously, everybody goes to Satan because that was, Rosemary's Baby and Rosemary's Baby ripoffs. It could just be a demon, I don't know. I think there may have been... I think there was some exposition, but I was too busy saying, great, we got exposition person here. But
it wasn't a recognizable name like it usually is.
Okay, but anyway, so we see the camera starts to look like it's shorting out and stuff.
Yeah.
And then in these little cuts, we eventually see her, and she's laying on this circle, and this circle turns into fire, and then the whole screen goes orange and loud. And then they wake up in their hotel the next morning not knowing how they got home.
Sounds fun.
Shock surprise, when they get back home she's pregnant, and all hell breaks loose. Literally.
I was going to say if you didn't.
Okay. First, let me talk about the cameras. This movie, I can understand, I think Chronicle was the first movie that did this, where people really started to point it out. I can't remember if any movies did it beforehand. Actually, Chronicle may have been the first one. Generally, the concept of found footage is one camera, just one dude's camera following the shit around.
Yeah.
Well...
Super 8.
Now this... Yeah. You mean Cloverfield?
No, I mean Super 8. Super 8 only had one camera, too. To film everything.
Oh, you mean the train wreck. Okay.
Yeah.
You confused me there.
Cloverfield does work, too.
Because Cloverfield's an actual found footage movie, unlike Super 8. So, we have... what I'm talking about with Chronicle here is when the found footage genre cheats and they start using security cameras. So it's not just the one camera the one guy has, it's any camera that happens to be present. I guess. which is a little cheap. But, you know, I suppose it gives it a little variety if you want to be really, really, really optimistic.
Yeah.
So anyway, about the cameras, okay? It starts off with he's only filming just because it's his thing, okay? But then suddenly, we're in the doctor's office, and she's getting the ultrasound.
Mm.
Now they're filming, they're saying they're filming everything so the baby will have a document, the baby can see this. Like anybody would be interested in watching this when they get older.
Good luck, Charlie.
But regardless, that's why they're filming now. It's not his thing anymore. Now it's so the baby can see how he was, the birth process, I guess.
That's his excuse though to keep filming.
Yeah. And then that turns into, okay, now I'm going to keep filming because shit's going down.
Of course.
Okay. So yeah, they can't even stick to the concept of why they're even filming. Because in case you're watching, when you see every found footage movie, all the way back to, remember when I reviewed Absence?
Yeah.
It seems like with every new found footage movie, there's a more and more and more dumbass reason for filming everything.
Yeah.
After a while, it's not even going to have reason. They're just going to do it. And they blatantly talk about it, too. Like the, oh, I'm so glad I got the, oh, yes. And not only that, he starts, cameras get put all around the house, too. So we see from those cameras, too.
Mm.
So this found footage movie that's supposed to feel all real and shit, we're getting from, like, 20 different angles.
And it says the camera that it's on in the bottom right-hand corner, too.
Yeah, which is basically their cheap way of not sticking with their own concept.
Yes. It's like the core.
So, and then standard shit happens. Stuff that isn't supposed to scare you jumps out at you. People get grabbed because, you know, you can't, like I keep saying, you can't use a score on a found footage movie, so
Yeah.
you have to make everything loud to scare the shit out of people, since your score is not there. And of course, they make the same mistake everything else does. Since it's about a couple, they have to be the most overly cutesy, happy couple of all fucking time. Just so you can feel all sad when one of them goes insane and starts ripping apart their lives.
Paranormal Activity started that crap.
I mean, this... I'm all for happiness, I guess. But I mean, this... You want to talk realism? There's no way this couple is... This couple does not feel real at all.
No.
The cutesiness feels very manufactured. And it's just off-putting from the get-go. Like, I don't even recall one argument they had until shit started to go down. It's all... And she especially is trying to do the overly lovable thing.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Alright. Let's see what else here. Yeah, and speaking of... So, obviously there's that scene where they have the new doctor that comes in.
Yeah.
When she goes in for the ultrasound. And of course this guy is creepy as fuck, but let's not really concern ourselves with that.
No.
Now, this is when they've established that the filming is for the baby. After he's born. Well, he goes outside to have a private talk with the doctor about what's going on, because some weird shit's going down.
Okay.
So, he kind of, it appears he throws the camera over his shoulder, walks outside and talks to the doctor.
Yeah.
He's left the camera on.
Of course you did.
And he's kind of, I suppose, it kind of looks like it's setting on something when they get out in the hallway. Like he's trying to film what the doctor is saying. This will be real important to the kid down the road.
Yeah.
And this, son, is when I spoke with the doctor in the hallway. Wonderful. Alright. Okay. Let's talk about the biggest, most overused cliche in horror movies since I don't know when. I feel like I've mentioned this in every single review for a horror movie we've done. And it continues.
Okay.
You can't have a senseless piece of shit horror movie without a pointless nosebleed.
Yeah.
2, There were 2 in this.
Yeah, there were.
Okay.
You told me about the first one. I saw the second one.
Every single bad horror movie in existence has a nosebleed in it that means nothing.
Yep.
Nothing at all. And this just follows that cliche rulebook exactly as close as it can.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, we're not done with the camera shit.
No.
Remember how I said they already fucked up their concept by we have security cameras, we have a camera in a store.
Mm.
By the way, I've never seen a camera placed there in a grocery store, but
No.
and we have his camera. There is a whole scene that is its own scene where we meet new characters and see shit through their camera.
Yeah. Wow.
Oh my god.
It's so it sounds so pointless.
Now, that scene actually would have been cool if it wasn't totally ruining the concept of the movie itself. But anyway, that scene also leads to predictability because you are there as a witness. What happened in that scene is something I told you that would happen about a half an hour before it did.
Yeah, exactly.
So, there's another great scene where, I don't remember exactly what was happening now, but the scene was at night, okay? And he's not in a room with a camera. He's in the room with the cameras that are already set up.
Yeah.
Okay? So the camera's got to be like upstairs or something, because it's not on him at all. And obviously he's in like the living room.
Mm-hmm.
So it's got to be, you know, in a different room entirely. So what happens is he hears a noise. Okay? So the next cut is him investigating this noise with his camera. Which means he heard a noise in the house, in the dark.
Which could have been anything.
And what he apparently did was run to wherever in God's name his camera was, got it, came back down, turned it on, then went to investigate.
How? No. I'm not buying this at all. And you shouldn't either, folks.
Next, to continue the camera conversation, because this movie just wants to make itself look worse and worse and worse with this found footage concept. Next we have this scene towards the end, where he's decided he's going to go all out. He's going to equip himself with one of those little cameras that you can, like, put on your, like, pin to yourself.
Yeah.
And then he can just walk around with his hands free and record shit. They just got married.
Yeah.
They just went on a honeymoon out of the country. I can't remember where he said they went. He said goodbye, and then he said where they were, but I forget where it was now.
Yeah.
They were really far out of the country.
Paris.
And now suddenly... That wasn't Paris. And now suddenly...
I didn't see it. I'm guessing.
How much do you think those tiny cameras go for?
They're expensive, because I've looked into them before. They're expensive.
There's an episode of Breaking Bad where Mike Ehrmantraut says they're $800 each.
They gotta be at least, if not more. I've looked into smaller cameras before, and yeah, they're expensive.
And the first thing he does is run out into the rain with it.
It's freaking brilliant.
Maybe they're built for that. I don't know. They're expensive. They should be built for that.
You'd think so.
Okay. And then the ending basically goes into... Basically, they reuse all the special effects they used in the VHS segment for the ending.
Yeah, I know they were trying really hard for the ending.
It basically felt like they were like, hey, this is all the shit we used in VHS. Now we can use it, you know. Let's just reuse that shit. And it tries to be a big balls out ending, but by then it's just... You're in fuck this mode.
Yeah, they've already failed.
Oh my god. So, this movie was a fucking disaster.
Who would you recommend this to? Who's your target demographic for this movie?
Somebody compared it to The Devil Inside.
I didn't like that either.
What happened with The Devil Inside was it had this great marketing campaign.
Yeah.
And everybody was really hyped for it. Everybody was really excited for it. Everybody was talking about that fucking trailer with her doing the lip thing and the screaming.
Oh, that was annoying.
And when people saw The Devil Inside, they fucking hated it.
Yes.
And somebody said that's pretty much that's probably going to be the same thing with this. It doesn't help that we saw this opening day and we were the only ones in there.
Yeah, there was literally no one else in the theater.
It might kind of like... I just don't... And like I said, it just puts salt in the wound that pretty much all the problems that I talked about for Paranormal Activity are just repeated in this.
That makes it worse.
They're just following every cliche they possibly can. It's like they're doing the shit on purpose.
It's possible.
And it's just...
I shudder about any horror movie in 2014 if they're going to start like this.
I don't know, but I just... This shit's gotta stop.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, it's like... Let me be honest with you. I know you probably... If you are going to see this, you probably don't like me right now. But if you were going to see this, let me be totally, completely honest with you. With the exception of one had people getting marked by whatever the fuck, and the other one is basically the same thing, only Rosemary's Baby style. If you paid for Paranormal Activity 2 weeks ago, if you come and pay for Devil's Due, you're paying for the exact same thing.
Yep.
From beginning to end. And I really don't think you want to do that.
Save your money.
Yeah,
There's kids' movies coming out soon.
Apparently this also had a marketing ploy. Apparently there was like a viral video about a demon baby or something that was like scaring the shit out of people. Apparently that was like marketing for this, but nobody knows that. They're trying to... It's kind of like the marketing campaign for This Is the End that was the Pineapple Express trailer.
And what was the last Chucky movie? They actually had some guy dress up as Chucky and burst out of a glass case and chase people with a plastic knife. It was awesome.
So, no. I wouldn't recommend this in a million years, even to people that like these movies. Because if you like these movies, you've already seen this movie.
Yeah.
You've already seen this movie over and over and over and over again.
Some people enjoy seeing stuff over and over again. That's the issue, though.
Apparently. Clearly.
This stuff keeps getting made, and if people would stop watching it, it wouldn't be made, and if it wouldn't get made, then we wouldn't have to make stuff like this.
Yeah. So, that's it. Same shit, different day, and it will be same shit next month, probably.
Yeah. Well, next week we've got I, Frankenstein, which looks like Van Helsing. And that's not something to look forward to. The Nut Job, which could go either way, and I don't know if we're getting anything limited release or not, maybe.
Probably not.
We got Labor Day the last week of January, then I guess we have Vampire Academy to look forward to on February 7th, because it got pushed up a week. Because they want to compete with all the Valentine's Day movies.
Yeah, there's 4 of them.
So that's good for us that they did that. Because on the 15th we're going to be extremely busy.
Yeah, we would have been one behind.
Alright, so we will get more content out to you guys very soon. We'll have recaps of the Critics' Choice Awards and the Screen Actors Guild Awards before the weekend is over. And if not, the beginning of the week if we not get that. We got a brand new Versus coming up, and that's all, I guess, for the day. So, AJ, any parting words for this review?
That's it.